Hey, 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 you're okay. Okay, okay, okay. Wow, she's so smart. Hello, Smiley Beaks. I can't believe how in tune she is with this. It is crazy. She knew. She knew right around 4 o'clock to come in, and she started waiting in here. She just got fed, and she still waits for she's staring. She knows. She knows there are things here. Wow, it's been here almost all day, but at 4 o'clock. Oh wow, she's smart. Okay, this week's treat is brought to you by a box from an old birthday gift. And yeah, this is full of paper and stuffed with treats. So this is first half. I fully anticipate her to come back for more. But you want this? Okay, ready? We're gonna throw it out there. Let's keep her out there. Yeah, she's wow. I can't believe how good her clock is. Her internal clock. What's going on with my hair? Got this, whatever this is. All right, so cool. Nice to have you back. Yeah, thank you. I think about this. I start thinking about this on Tuesday mornings. I'll be honest. But all week I start to keep boxes, and she gets box. We do weird things with boxes all the time. So any box that comes into the house, I let her destroy, and she enjoys it. So hopefully that keeps her for a little while. She's on a new, she's on a little bit of a new diet. She's still not feeling well, so hopefully she's okay during this session, this Twitch session. But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining us. Can you hear her? It's really loud. She's like, she's in. I can see that she's in. What was I gonna say? Yeah, thanks for joining on today's rig along. Last week we started the limbs and we didn't quite finish it. Okay, good. Yeah, I can hear her destroying that box. It's so loud. But yeah, last week we finished the limbs. We built two different types of limbs in one. So today is going to be a little bit of a continuation of that. We're going to go in and finish it, and then hopefully we'll be able to start the legs. And basically do the same principle, the same idea, to the legs, to the limbs. So yeah, you'll be able to see the two different styles applied in two different designs. So awesome! All right, let's get going. Yeah, let's get going. Let me change this. Okay. All right, what are you working on today, Smiley Beaks? What are you working on while you're rigging along with us? Or maybe you're not rigging along, but you're here. We appreciate that. Mabel might not, but I do. Flash builds. Ooh. Hot tip. I'll show you what a flash build looks like in Harmony. Real quick. I'll undo it. This is basically this is the magic. This is the difference between Harmony and Flash. I was just talking about this yesterday in the BYOP rigging course. The specialty of Harmony is that it has all its hierarchy. Oh, sweet, another chatbot. Awesome. Thanks, Rub3 Nix 6 N6. Cool, thank you. But yeah, if you're gonna go into, if you want to look at see what the difference is between a Harmony build and a Flash build, if you wanted to build a Flash build inside Harmony, what you would do is you would just ignore any of the hierarchy. That's basically what a Flash rig looks like. That's the difference. So with Flash, you're kind of pushing pieces around, and they're all kind of individual loosey-goosey. I think that you use symbols for the head and a symbol for the body. And correct me if I'm wrong, Smiley Beaks. Tell me if the technology's changed. But I'm pretty sure that that's still the way it is. And that's what this would look like. This right here, where you have the one main peg, and then everything underneath would have its own peg. That's essentially head comp symbols. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll undo what I just did, but that's the beauty of Toon Boom is the hierarchy. And look at this. The monster's back for more. Bless you. Whoa, you chill out. What did you do? You eat it? Did you eat the paper? That's it. Okay, can you go lay down if I give you a little treat? Jeez. A little treat hound. Like I said, she's been sick, so she's kind of getting a lot of extra treats right now. Let me do this in 2 phases. Do that. So she's got. I hope that I'm not throwing treats all lesson though, all class or all session, whatever this is. Hey, hello. No worries, no worries. Welcome back, film who wasn't there. Wait, used Harmony. I've used Harmony, but wasn't interacting with builds much for it. Pegs are lovely. So are the cutters. To me, that's my favorite part of working in Harmony compared to Flash. The cutter system mask system is completely different. All right. So, no worries. How's the weather where everybody else is? Because we've got rain. We haven't had any snow yet, though. Our snow is not happening, which is pretty wild. I'm used to having a lot of snow right now. Okay. Okay, we need to go. We need to stop. There you go. To try to use the cutters out. Yeah, cutters are cool. Snowing lightly here. And Snowy Beaks, Smiley Beaks, are you in Windsor? Or am I right? Been raining in Florence. Yeah. Burnaby, awesome. Okay, I used to live in Vancouver. So you're pretty close to where I used to live. I got a lot of friends that live in Burnaby though still, so I'm looking to go back. I do miss it. All right, so let's see. Let me hide the parts that I don't need. I keep wanting to say snowy peaks now. Smiley Beaks. What? Are you in school? What school do you go to out there? Working from home. Ah, I see. So you're working in a Flash studio. I see. Cool. Well, thanks for joining me on your work time. I'm glad someone's getting paid. It's always helpful. Okay, let me make some space for the deformers. We're definitely adding deformers today. All right, and I think it's almost good to go. Yeah, we got through we set the pegs. Now we get to set deformers. Didn't leave, doesn't look like I left I did. I did leave a note, but I didn't leave an overall note. Add handle to blank drawings for both upper and lower arms. This is a love note to myself. This is what I call a love note. When you put something down and you know you're gonna forget the next time you pick it up, which is what happens when you do something for 2 hours a week, I find. Leaving yourself a little love note like this is a very handy way to set yourself up for success. And I do it over the weekends too. So if you're working and you are forgetting what you're going to do on Monday, this is a really nice thing to do. Set yourself a little love note. How do you save the notes? Well, in Flash, I'm not sure, but in Harmony, these are backdrops. So the backdrops kind of act like a digital post-it. So for Flash, and you know what? To be honest, when I would work in my studio, and my computer is still full of post-its, but I leave myself physical post-its because no one's gonna touch it, and I would just put it in the middle of my screen. Monday morning, 9 o'clock comes in. I have my little to-do list. I put it to the side. It's really hard to ignore it when you sit down. It's right there, and so it would set me up for success on a Monday morning when you don't really have your mind quite ready to be back at work. You can get your job done. That's an ADHD trick right there for you if I've never seen one. Yeah, well, I hope you get a job with I hope you can get a job with Harmony. That's how I did it. I started in Flash. I started in Harmony, but then I went to Flash. I learned how to build in Flash, and then I used that opportunity to kind of start picking it up. And then I basically never went back to Flash. That's kind of the truth. So maybe that'll happen to you too. Let's see. There's no deformers in Flash animation, right? Let's see. Which one do I want to do first? Let's do this handles that I keep talking about. Okay, so in our upper arm will never disappear, so it doesn't need to have a handle, and it's our lower arm that will need to have a handle. So let me go to here. And I'm just going to copy the artwork. And what I'm doing is I know it's already on my blank drawing here, so I can see it in my drawing substitutions right here and here. I have both open. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this little tiny shape, and I'm just going to make it a lot smaller. Oops, didn't mean to make it to flip the scale. And I'm just going to do this. I think that will be maybe a little higher. And I'll just fill that with the handle. And now I think my overlay is plugged in. Make sure I have that on the right. Let's put this on the underlay, Control X, because I'm gonna put this on the underlay because in the drawing where I've cut my arm in half. So what you missed last week is that I built an arm that can break in half and can Z depth. So, but I also built one solid like a noodle limb. So there's one arm that can like be really curvy and wavy like this, but then there's also another arm that is broken and jointed. And that gives you that hinge, and it gives you that overlapping action in case something's like in the arm, like carrying a bouquet of flowers or something. Okay, yeah, okay. You're in a real mood, eh? You're in a real mood. Okay, I'm just not prepared for you to be like, okay. I missed going through the door. Hit the door and then it bounced back into the room. I was not prepared for her to be such a ferocious beast today. So it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, so last week what we were doing is I built the two arms, and then you can kind of switch between the two depending on what you want. The noodle arm is really good for quick action. And then, like I said, the Z-depthing arm is good for holding things. So on frame 1, we have the noodle arm. And you can kind of see that here. It's not in the lower arm, it's the entire upper arm. And then on frame 2, that's where we get the broken jointed arm. So I'm gonna put, because I have the pieces and the overlay, the line art and the color art, all those spots are full. I'm gonna put this handle on the underlay. I try to keep this stuff very standardized. So I'm gonna put that there, and we can't see it because the underlay is not plugged in, but as soon as I plug it in, you can see it. And then I wanna make sure that it doesn't show up when I'm in render view. So I'm gonna hide that. So we need a, what do we call this? What is this node called? I always forget. Visibility node. There we go. Visibility. Just pop that there. And we'll set it up so that it is display in OpenGL view, but not in the soft render. And there it goes, it's gone. All right, so now it's a lot easier to flip through the drawings. There's other ways to do this. I've definitely seen this instance is used with they are called, oh my gosh, my working memory is just not what it used to be. Sync drawings. So what you can actually do is you can sync the drawings of your arm, and then when you flip between the 1 and the 2, they'll all flip. The only thing is, once you sync a drawing, you can't unsync it, and so you have to keep that in mind, that a lot of times animators are creating new drawings, creating new instances. It creates problems down the line in those scenarios, because then you can't unsync the things. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting little tidbit. So I'm not going to sync these drawings, so I would rather use the handles to kind of help people turn these drawings on and off. Then you'd be sunk. Yes, yes. Yeah. So on frame 1, we don't have the, oh, actually, did I put it on the wrong layer? This is what I want. I want this one. Control X. I want it on the first drawing. So here, I now on my lower arm, on my upper arm, I don't need a handle because it'll always be showing. You can always select your upper arm. In the lower arm, but where is my handle now? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm like, it's disappearing. But it's disappearing because it's here, so we don't need it anymore. Yeah, so that works. That works perfectly. And so you can see the little nub of the upper arm. It's right there, sticking out from the shirt, and we can do a real quick test just to jump down the hierarchy, and it's all good. And if we Z-depth forward, we still can see that we've got our Z-depth thing is working, which is great. And that is it. So now we've got that one. Let me see what else is on here. Blank drawings for both upper arm and lower arm. Doesn't need it for the upper arm. Deformers, check layering and hierarchy, add prop hands, and make it look pretty. Let's make it look pretty first, because to be honest, I forget that. If I don't do that one first, I will forget it. So let's do that. I'm going to taper some of these lines so that they just kind of do a little bit of flair. So, and I can see you've got a lot of messages here that I missed. One day Flash has felt like it's on the way out for the last 7 years. So we'll see where Flash goes. It's still a really powerful tool. A lot of studios are still using it. It's just Harmony's really picked up, and it's still picking up. So you know, most animators who've worked in Harmony prefer having them. Yeah. Yeah, consistency breeds efficiency. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Consistency is probably the best but hardest thing to do most of the time. That's life. That's life for you. All right, let's see. Let's make this one. Okay. I've been using Flash over a decade. Wow. That's a long time. So you've been in the industry for a long time. I assume that everybody that comes with me is fairly new, um, but I probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't. I've been getting an increase of people that are in the industry, but then are looking into changing their skills and changing things up. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's do some work on this hand. Let's do some more work on this hand. I'm really just preserving some of the thickness. I don't even think I need this one there. I'm really just preserving some of this thickness in the curvy parts and pinching the joints. So there we go. I'll have to clean the lines for the fingers as well. But that looks pretty good. I don't know if I think I want to make this one a little bit thinner too. See, okay, it looks like I can see this popping out. Yeah, taper control is really cool. From what I remember in Flash, you have to go in and change your paint lines manually, if I'm correct. I should really just be a PSA for switching over from Flash to Harmony. These are all the things you can do. It's just more, you know what it is? It's more efficient. It's it's got a nicer workflow, but it's still a bigger learning curve. It really is. There's a real nice simplicity with Flash. It's a really good place to start. I'm sure that your like none of your Flash skills that you have will be wasted when you get to Harmony. You know, whereas if you learn on Harmony and you go to Flash, you've wasted a lot of time because you've probably over invested in something. But to go back and forth, you're gonna have a way much easier time learning Harmony than not having that flash background. So you can be pretty happy about that. Okay, so that's done, and I think it's just deformers, and I'll double check my peg hierarchy. Deformers first. All right, where's the hand is over here, and here's the sleeve. Deactivate. So again, we're just using the standard. There's nothing fancy in these deformers. We're just using the standard envelope tool. That's the only thing that you have to change. And even when we go to add the curve deformers, we're still going to be using the envelope deformers. So that's all we're going to do. Yep, paint in center contour. Yeah, paint is the contour points, and line is the only one with the interior line. Yeah, and it's probably a little bit harder to paint too. What I remember about Flash is there's a lot more excess artwork that has to be kind of cleaned up. There's a lot more digital clutter, like inside the paint. There, I was always deleting like little tiny contour points of different colors. Like I don't know how that happened. It was just probably from design, and they just sketch so quickly. Like they can kind of like nick a screen somewhere and create new paint color. But I found that I was always cleaning that up and always like really getting in there. Whereas with Flash, or with Harmony, it's a little bit easier to color, and I find it's a little bit easier to, especially if you're rigging, you're recreating the artwork. I find that you're not cleaning up the artwork as much, if that makes sense. Which that part I appreciate more. It's way nicer to recreate the artwork than it is to clean up artwork, and I'm sure as a designer they're probably gonna say the same thing. Although some people love cleanup. Yeah, exactly. You know who when you're on the floor. You learn everybody's style. It's so cool. That's actually pretty cool part about being in the industry. as you do start to recognize everybody's work. Okay, what am I doing right now? I'm just setting deformers. Okay, we're good. All the pieces are there. Here. Okay. In this case, yeah, in this case, I don't think I'm gonna create a third point. I don't think it's necessary. And a third point meaning like right here. I don't think it's necessary. So I'll just leave that. Yeah, it does. But sometimes it's good because sometimes what it also does is it also limits the animation, or it limits the what would you call it, the influence to another area. So sometimes you can have too many or too little deformer points, and then a deformer is influencing a section that you don't want it to. But I think that in this case, having one is going to be okay. So mainly because, yeah, the sleeve is so small. I would add one more piece right here. We can always test it too and come back and see if it needs to be edited. So I'll put one here and here, and then this is kind of to control the front and the back of the shoulder. It looks like something's going on with my deformer here. Might have to do this one over. Yeah. Okay, let me try that one over. Film, who wasn't there? What are you working on today? Somebody else is in the chat. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know what you're doing, please. Just want to know. So let's see, 10 years in the industry. Do you have a favorite project? Have you always been in rigs this whole time? Have you always been in builds? 10 years is a long time. That's as long as I have. So we've been doing this the same time. 7 years. Yeah. Almost. Okay, so for our upper arm, this is where we're going to treat this a little bit differently. I'm just noticing now too, I'm on the second drawing. I want to make sure I'm on the first drawing. So in this, let me get out of my deformer tool real quick. All right, so we've got this one long arm here. It's going to be a, I'm going to call this one we're going to call this one the noodle arm. So I'm going to bring back my circles from up here because I want my noodle deformer points to match with my pegs and my elbow and the arm, the jointed arm next to it. I've been in a few different departments, setup, BG, production, builds. Yeah, cool. Well, welcome. And I hope that you are able to break into that harmony section. You should try bringing along. You should try to get this character. Just download it from my website. And you can build this character and you can practice in your spare time. And that's really all you got to do. You've got the connections. So now all you got to do is work on your skill. Or get the studio to help you work on your skill. That's always another option. But once you have rigging experience, you're good. You're pretty good. That's a worldwide demand. So you'll be fine. All right, so the deformers for the two different arms, it's really important to kind of have them in the right spot. Otherwise, when you flip between the two drawings, it's going to look a little wonky. So this is why I brought back my circles. And I'm basically just going to match my pivot pole. Oh, what's going on here? Keeps adding an extra. So I'll show you why this is important as well. Break down. So this is where it should be, but let's see what it looks like if I make it off. Just gonna offset it real quick. So let's put the elbow, let's see. So if we break this arm here, let me go back here. If we try to match it, when we jump between the two, you can see that the elbow kind of breaks. So let's undo this and put that back where it needs to be. And then we'll go back. And now you can see that it's a lot better. And ta-da! That's most of the trick. So let's reset this. And reset this. Alright, so now we've got the deformer on our upper arm here. Here we don't want this long upper arm deformer, so we're going to create a new one. So I'm just going to go to the next, create a new deformer chain, so just like this. And in this one, what we're going to do is instead of doing the noodle deformer, like a curve deformer, we're going to do a full envelope deformer around it. So what I do in this case is I can jump in to here, and I want to make sure that my deformers are lined up with the ends, with the little detail lines, because that's what's really important for jointed arm systems. When you're getting here, you want to make sure your deformers are perfect. So because there's a sleeve as well, there's a lot of cover up here. Usually I'd do like a deformer here, here, and here, 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 and here, and then connect it. But because there's a cap on the sleeve, we don't really need that top one. So I'm gonna go like this. Whoops. Whoop. Trying to spin this one, but it doesn't want to be spun. So we'll go here, put one in the bottom. And this is actually one of those spots I was mentioning earlier. When you are creating a spot like this, you want to have, or when you have like two little deformer points, this is one of those instances where you can have two little deformer points. So the top is an example, but it's okay because it's covered by the sleeve. But down here, this is where we add an extra deformer point, and it basically just makes sure that this side of the arm isn't affected by this side of the arm. So we'll put the and then we can plug this back in and reset this pivot point. You can use I don't know if I've talked about the automatic envelope generator. You can use that. That is a tool. I don't use it because I like to have control over where I put the root of my deformer. I find that kind of loses the ability to know where to put it, and it just kind of puts it willy-nilly. So I find that it takes the same amount of time to kind of move everything around to where you want it versus starting from scratch and doing it yourself. So that is a tool. It's there, and if it doesn't matter, then it's perfect. But if it matters, it might be a little too much. All right, let's see. Let's see. Hide this. Deactivate. Okay. This one is just going to be to control the shadow. So do a quick one. All right, so quick tip. This is a cool little trick. This is something that we were doing a lot on, I don't know if I can say it, a lot with Enchanted Meatballs. So, just in case I can't say it, but this is something that you can do, because we won't be adding too many shadows, especially with shadows. It's one of those things that kind of a pain in the butt to add and a pain in the butt to animate. So something that you can kind of automate. And let's go back to here. Let's make sure it all works on both frames. Okay, which one is this one? Checking to see. All right. Yes, I think this is going to be fine. I think we can do this. Whoops. Turn that down. All right, so I think we can do this. I think it'll work. All right, so what you can do, and we're doing this because the pieces are identical. We have the upper arm shadow here that's cutting through the entire upper arm, and then we created a second lower arm shadow. This is a quick little tip. The drawings are exactly the same, and the shadow is in the same spot. So to quickly automate this, what you can actually do is just copy and paste, and now you've got a duplicated shadow. And what you do to the one will do to the other, and it's just a nice little treat. Nice little trick, nice little treat. Yeah, and so now when you animate the one, it'll automatically animate the other. The only thing that you need to know is if you add a new deformer to one or a deformer chain to the other or a new drawing, it kind of breaks the system, but that doesn't typically happen with shadows unless it's like a extreme case, and in which case, if it's an extreme case, you probably have to go in and do it to both anyway. So you can do that. So ta-da! It's a nice little shadow trick. All right, and so now we can add our deformer to our lower arm. Also want to make sure that that is not in motion. Perfect. Okay. All right, so upper arm, we're gonna do the same thing as we did for the upper arm, I should say. So I'm just gonna unplug the line art, and that basically just gives me the locations of where my 4 pivot points or my 4 deformer points are gonna go, and then I cement it. So, oh, what happened there? That's not what I wanted. So one in the middle. This might be a little too short, but we'll see what this looks like with the deformers. Okay. So once again, we're trying to go for thirds. This will be really nice too, because if you get into any foreshortening, all these deformers are going to be able to take care of that. So reset, and I'm going to create a new deformer chain so that we don't have any deformers on our lower arm when there's no drawing. There we go. They turn on and off. Did I do that for the upper arm? I did. Perfect. And the hand does not get a deformer. So now all that we have left to do is our prop hand. So that'll be good. All right. All right, so prop hands are done a little bit differently, and basically manipulating a character that's interacting with a prop. This technique hasn't really changed in a long time. Typically what happens is when you're animating, the character is not using anything, not using a prop, and then all of a sudden the character is picking up something. So the moment that the character picks something up, just like this, you basically want to turn the object on and off and then bring it into the character's hand and duplicate the object. So what I mean by that is, again, we'll use this pen. From the moment that the pen is on the ground, I don't know if there's no like, let me put something here. We'll get a close-up of my live long and poop mug, my guinea pig mug. So we'll put it here. I don't know, I can't even see it. I'm trying to, does it work? Does it see it? No, it doesn't work. Let's see. I'm looking for something tall. Okay, here. How about this? My mug full of pens. It's taller. You can see the pens, right? Yeah, okay. So, all right, so my hand is not interacting with this prop. It's not interacting with the prop. So the moment the object is in my hand, you basically turn the prop off from wherever it was, and then you make a copy of it, and you put it inside the hand, and you turn that one on. So it's basically a little bit of an illusion. So on and off kind of thing. If the character puts it back down, then you would do the same thing, just backwards. You'd turn the drawing off in the hand, and then you'd turn it back on where you put it. So that hasn't really changed. That's just the way interacting with props have always been. But what we also do is inside the hand, we have levels so that we can Z depth. So that you can basically put your hand in front or behind the prop, something like this. Or if you wanted to hold hold something the same way that I'm actually holding it right now, which looks a little funny, but for some reason, if you wanted to have that free floating finger, if you wanted the good example for that is putting your hands through hair. Sometimes that's necessary. Yeah, we have a separate layer inside that hand, and that is called a prop hand. And that lets you interact with the props. So, let's see. I know that I'm already using this hand for specific layers, so let's just double check. My overlay is not being used. My line art is being used, and my color art is being used. So this is where it gets a little tricky, because depending on where you're working, studios will do this a little bit differently. Again, I like to keep a very specific, I like to stay consistent. I like to not have exceptions. So in the rig, what I've done is I've used my overlays to have all those detailed lines, the line art to have all my fully enclosed and envelope lines, and then the color is the color. So you can put your prop overlay, because it's called an overlay, on your overlay layer, but we already use it. So you could also put it on the underlay. So your hand could also be the underlay. The prop hand could be the underlay layer. Or you can put your detail layer on your underlay layer and use your overlay layer for your overlay layer. For this character, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it consistent because I would rather people practice that. So our free layer is the underlay, so I'm going to turn the underlay layer into my prop overlay hand. Oh, and the monster's back. You need to go chill, please. Can you go lay down? No, you're done. You've had all the treats. No, you're done. What time is it? You haven't even gone 45 minutes, and you have, you're a little terror. Can you please lay down? Can you lay down, please? On your bed. Don't look at me like that. On your bed. You're out of breath. You're like, go. Lay down. No, go lay down. Sit. Sit. You're so close. Sit down. Good girl. Lay down. 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 Lay down. Go back. Relax. Lay down. Lay down. This is it. This is it. Lay down. That's it. No more treats. Lay down. That's it. I just threw them right behind her, and she couldn't tell. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. There's so many best practices for Harmony to remember. It's almost impossible. I'm already starting to forget them. All right. So yeah, we're just gonna put it on the underlay. And what this is going to allow you to do is you're going to still have maximum flexibility. I have not copied over my artwork, so I'm going to do that here. I'm actually going to make this a little bit thinner. This is not thin enough. So let's make this a little thinner. That's not. Still looking a little bulky, so that looks nice. Oh, I don't know if I like this. I might change this. This looks a little too thin now too. Let's see. That looks better. Okay, she's sleeping. She's tired herself out. I hope. Okay, so let's bring the line art over to the overlay. And now we can clean this up. So I'm just going to remove the top of those hands, and we'll just do this. All right, so now what's going to happen is I need another cutter because my hand is not affected yet when I pop it over. But again, like the hands are so, arms and legs are legs as well, but limbs are so flexible. We want everything to be working both ways. So we can see here, I'm going to cut that by the lower arm auto patch, but I'm also going to cut it by, whoops. Cancel, Control B. Oh, what the heck? What just happened? I have another group here. Don't want that. Oh, I have multiple. What happened here? Okay. Okay, so this is, we're going to cut it. It's working on this arm. I've got a little popping. Oh, it looks like I didn't plug in. Yes, I didn't plug this back in. Let's go back here. Always something to remember. There we go. That's why it's popping. Okay, so now go here, and I have to add the auto patch from the upper arm so that it also cuts the hand. There we go. So now we've got that flexibility, and we're gonna do the prop hand. So to make a prop hand, we're gonna use the underlay. So I'm gonna make a note in here, and this one right here we're not gonna use, but I'm gonna use our post-it note and just say prop hand layer. And it's more for the animator. I'm not even going to, actually I will leave that there. And then I'm gonna go here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy our hand. So this artwork, we're just copying it directly. This is what we want. We're gonna put it, we can put it here, or we can put it on top. Maybe put it on the bottom. And what I'm gonna do is steal this underlay layer. We don't need the whole group here. And we're basically saying that this is the only layer that we're using for this hand. And I believe this pivot point's already set. So instead of copying the hand peg, we're gonna copy paste special. So Control C, Control B. We want to make sure that we see this window. I haven't set it yet, so I'll have to remember to do that. Always create drawing files. Always create new columns. The drawing files don't matter for pegs, but I think that's just a habit. So now we're gonna daisy chain from our hand to our overlay or underlay, whatever. And so now when I grab my hand, it's there. And let's say here, let's go in this side. I'm just gonna go into the underlay. I'm just gonna paint a blade of grass really quickly. So now we also have our underlay. So how this works, we're gonna rename this. It's not gonna be your hand number 1. It's gonna be your hand. We'll still call it an overlay because it's I think that's pretty standard. Okay, Mabel, you gotta be okay. No. No. Lay down. Oh, here she goes. No, you're done. You're done. Lay down. Good girl. Good girl. I love you. I love you. You're such a good girl. No, lay down. That's it. You're done. Okay, yes, we got the hand overlay peg. We got our hand overlay here. And so now when you grab the hand, your overlay is going to move with it. We can Z depth this forward and backwards, which is really nice. Oh, that's very nice. I wish Mabel just slept a lot more than she does. But she doesn't. And then lastly, there's one other thing that we can do with our hand, But before I do that, I'm going to take this whole group, and I believe I'm ready to I believe it's done. I believe we're ready to group it. I'll double check the layering. Let's see, what do I got here? What was this that just connected? Yes. All right, so Harmony does this thing where when you group something and you have unconnected nodes, it does connect. This is something that shout out to Maurice. We were looking at this yesterday. It just did it for my rig, so this is something that he's going to go through. or he went through. But yes, when you group something, it always wants to connect all the pieces that are unconnected. It's not happy with like free floating connections. So you can just delete it and your arm is back to normal. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a connection from the hand, and I'm actually going to, I think it's got to be on the left side though. So let me double check my thumbnail. Yes, there's an arm there, there's a thumbnail. So I want that to be, if I put it on the other side, I believe you wouldn't see it. Yes, so it's perfect. We want it on the left side. It doesn't look pretty because it crosses the lines, but in this case we have to be okay with that. All right. Setup seems like a cooler bring forward back in Flash. It only works if objects and symbols are on the same layer though. Yeah, it does. And you can actually Z-depth so much. You can Z-depth between characters. You have to make sure that your composites are set up for it, which is why we're always using pass-through composites. But yeah, yep, it's a cool, it's a cool feature. All right, so now I got my arm. I think my arm is done. I don't think I have to worry about my layering. I think that's good. My sleeve, my upper arm, my sleeve is behind that. Maybe what I would do, my upper arm shadow is also behind that. Maybe what I might do is push this over to sandwich the whole arm. Something like this. But it's not imperative. Move everything over. And this is my front arm. So if you remember, I don't know if we did it in the eye. Yeah, I did it in the eye. It's been a while. I'm just going to use a backdrop, and I'm going to label this the front arm. So that when animators are in this group, they know they're in the front arm. It also will say it here. I haven't changed my group name yet, so FRARM. All right, so there is that. And I think that's it. So on here we've got our lower arm shadow, we've got our lower arm, we've got the hand, and we've got the hand overlay. So some things that are shown, so here's a big difference with rigging. So this is something that's bigger. This will work for you, Smiley Beaks. Because in Vancouver, they don't really use kinematic outputs that much. So what that means is when you are, oops, I want the second frame. When you are, maybe actually I want this one. I want the upper arm though. So when you're animating and you're using your quick deformer, something like this, you're disconnecting from your hand. So this is actually very standard in Vancouver. It just gives the animator a lot more control. So instead of it being there, what you would end up doing is you would basically animate your hand back to where you want it. So it's a bit of a two-step process, but that's more standard than it is to use the kinematic output. I feel like I need one more prop. I feel like I need one more prop here. I think I need one more hand, so I'm gonna create one more copy view paste special. I'm gonna steal this one. Okay, and the only difference is now this one's gonna be called the prop hand peg. That way you can control the prop separately from the hand separately from the prop. There we go. So that makes a little bit more sense. All right, so I know that Z-depth has its place, but I always try to use the hierarchy where possible. It's much easier to troubleshoot a layering issue when you can see. Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're rigging, it makes more. Um, you definitely want it to be set up properly. Is it really far behind or something? It shouldn't be. Of course, this isn't the best for every situation, though. Yeah, when you get into more rotations, you have to lean on your Z depth, because you couldn't pose your quarter back without using, like when you get here, you wouldn't be able to bring certain things in front, like the bow tie. This far bow tie would have to go back here. So some food for thought. Food for thought. Uh, and my experience with Z depth years ago was by accident, unintended hotkey. Oh, that's funny. You know, my unintended hotkey is for Flash. It's the one where you accidentally close your scene. That hotkey I would hit all the time. Especially going back for with Harmony, whatever that hotkey is, it's very it's very relevant in Harmony. And so when you go back to Flash, you're just always closing and shutting down your scene. um, I'm sure more familiar with Harmony will make it a lot less confusing when you press the wrong thing. Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's part of the learning curve. You have to make every mistake to know how to fix the mistakes, and that's what's valuable. If let's put more value on making the mistakes so you know how to fix the mistakes than not making the mistakes in the first place. Because uh, that's really what the world needs. Okay, so we got an arm right here. All right, so we can make the other arm. We're just going to clone it. So go to nodes, clone selected nodes, drawings only. We're going to leave those prop outputs where they are. It doesn't matter right now. Basically what those are is it's going to allow us to bring a prop into the scene. So right now I have that weird piece of grass that I need to delete, and also fix that peg in the other arm now that I've duplicated it. But what that does is if you have a prop, like let's say it's the circles, let's say the circles is a prop, you would be able to connect the hand. We're going to jump out our multi-port here. I'm going to go on the left side. So we know that that's our prop output. And so now, let me make sure there's no Z depth. I definitely have Z depth on all of these things. So let me reset all of these. When I go here, you're moving your prop with your object. So now you're not copying your object or your prop from the outside of your scene into the inside of the scene, because that's something that you may have wanted to do. But I believe this works now. We can tilt it. I've got another arm there that is in the way, but we can scale it. And if we wanted to move the whole character, well, I guess it's not connected, so it's going to be a terrible example, but we can grab the whole arm, the whole character essentially. Whoop, come on, I want the whole arm. And we could scale it, it scales with it. So that is the cool thing. That's the cool prop hand. Maybe it's not cool, I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments. All the people rigging along. All right. We will leave. What do I want to do? I wanted to. Let's do this. Okay, this is going to be our front arm. This is going to be our back arm. So BK. All right, and we need a static transformation. And so I think I don't think I have to, I think I can use this peg to do this. So we're just gonna flip it. Boop. It's nearly in perfect place. Mathematically, we could move it. We don't have to move it. We could nudge it in place. I think I might just keep it flipped and let it stay in place so our scene is symmetrical. And then we're going to bake the immediate parent transformation. And if you remember, it's going to now apply a double negative. So we've got the -1 flip in the peg. We're about to apply it inside the static transformation, which is going to make it look like it's gone back into place. So there it is. So now we want the static transformation here. We don't want it in the peg. So we're just going to reset the peg. So our peg is at 0, 0, which we can read right here. So we've done that perfectly. You can also, if you're just flipping it, you can also just change your x-axis to -1, and then you don't have to do anything that I just did. You can set up your static transformation manually. It works. And that's it. So now we have that, and that. I'm going to get rid of my circles again so that they're not so drastic. And I'm going to deactivate that. And we're basically moving on to legs now. I can connect this to the body. What have we got here? This is our shirt master. This is the shirt and arms master. So I've already added this. And the one thing that we also need, I'm going to get rid of this peg. Doesn't need to be floating there. Is an arms main peg. So this one will grab both our arms. Arms. And this connects to the rest of the body. So now we've got a peg that grabs the body, and then we've got a peg that grabs the shirt. Then we're going to have a peg that grabs the shirt, the body, and the head, which is where we're at. And now we're going to get to the lower body. That's what we're doing now. Let me just hide these. Deactivate. And now we can focus on here. I'm going to steal, copy view, composite. And I'm going to put the right here. There we go. So now we'll be able to see our drawings. All right, so that's going to be the rest of the class. We're just going to keep calling this a class, the Twitch session, the stream. We're just going to be drawing. So we'll do the same thing with our circles. We'll want to get our pivot points. I think I've got the pants colors already. I've got the shirt. I don't have my socks. And I want to let's do socks. This one will be shoes. That way, if you wanted to change any colors. I'm also going to do a separate paint pot for the heels. It's technically the same color, but I'm going to do a separate one in case anybody wants to kind of go in and turn these shoes into older looking timey shoes where they've got like the beige or whatever. The beige flats. All right, now we're going to do the same thing. So what we did to the arm, we're going to do to the leg. So we've got our upper leg. I'm not going to stand here and do a high kick in front of the camera, but you can imagine my arm if I was high kicking at what's coming at you. I know I just started with my upper leg, but if you actually think about it, our upper leg is at the very back. So that's something to kind of consider. How you break your leg. Your foot is going to be first, your lower leg is going to be second, and then your upper leg is going to be behind. So something to think about. So I might just go like this and go bloop, and change this up a little. So I'm going to start from basically the bottom, go to the top. So now we got the shoes. I'm going to create a heel. And I'm going to create laces. I'll have that on separate lines or on separate drawings. I will have to go in and update the hands. I do want to set myself a note there because that is something. I guess I could almost spend the rest of the day doing that too, just tracing this hand. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Let's finish there. That way we can start the legs next week. We'll see how long this takes me. Let's do that. Let's do that. All right, let's go back to the arms. Let's just finish the hands. Because this is what's going to show you what's kind of important about the static transformation. Let's finish this lesson. I almost forgot. All right, so I'm just going to go into this hand. I only have the one drawing right now. So my line art, my overlay, I should say, I'll have to recopy it because I've only done this like mitten look right now, which is actually something that I do with rigs because I do, the reason why I skipped ahead to the legs, or to the legs, is because when I'm rigging, I will do my lip syncs at the end and I'll do my hands at the end, mainly because it's a bunch of drawing. So I can basically I don't like to task switch too much. I like to try to stay as focused on what I'm doing at the same time. So to me, this is kind of task switching where I'm going into like a more drawing mode. So it's okay. It's okay for this setup, the way that we're doing. It's probably better for this setup, but it goes against my grain. So let's bring this back and we'll finish this up. And something like this, what I do is I just go to my pencil, or I'll use the line. Actually, I'll still use the line tool. What am I doing? That is a Z. No, Alt Z. Here we go. And I'm gonna drawing tools. Where's my drawing tool? Snap to contour is on. Just gonna bend it a little. This is actually what I like to do. So I'll make my line, or like the finger line. Copy. I'll make another one. I'll do that work. Kind of shortcuts. I don't have to like make two changes. I'll line that up. Make that one a little shorter. And then I can just kind of connect them. So quickly like that. And then I'll delete this. So now these are going to go the right color. And just straighten out this. There we go. Oh, yeah, thanks for sticking around. Have a good night. Hope it will. She'll be good. She'll be good. She'll be good. Okay. And then let me just double check this whole thing compared to the design, because I think that I need to see a little bit of fingers here. Yep, oops, Control Z, Control Z. So we'll just break this handle and then move this point up. And now we've got a couple more. Looks like there's something floating here though that I can't quite see. Oh, it might be this one. So maybe, oh, it'll be fine. This one needs to be shortened a little bit. You can see a little bit of overlap, or you can just tighten it like that. Okay. I want to make sure I get in the vibe of the hand. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Maybe move this one over a little bit, and I'll leave it for now. We'll do another hand. All right, that looks good. So activate that, deactivate that, I should say. And let's go back here and we'll edit all the layers. So I've made that change. Here, I'm going to copy this artwork back to the overlay and just change the and I forgot to put this closer to the inside so I can see that there's some overlapping here. So I'm going to undo that and try that one more time. Whoops. So not holding Alt. That's what keeps getting me into trouble. There we go. Looks better. And now I can fill it and replace the if it's not filling, it just means there's a crack, which I have it right here. So I can turn on my strokes. There we go. Control X. Control V. Dropper, Control V. All right, so there we go. Now we got our hand, and now here is the magic. Why does the thumb look? Was the thumb like that the whole time? But here's the magic of working this way. What I've done is when I made the change to the one hand, it also made a change to the other. But that's because I didn't change the drawing. So what I can also do, which is really nice, is if I do want to change this drawing, so I'm going to duplicate it. If I want to edit it, so let's just make an obvious change. You can see here that it's changed here, but not here. But then in this hand, that drawing exists. So that's why we're using static transformations for the limbs. It is so helpful, and it saves so much time. So I have to go back. I do have to go back, and I should go back and change that thumb. What I could also try to do is make sure, I can also make sure that my layers all match up, and I might be able to just edit it without doing anything. So all my layers are set up properly. Let's see, maybe. Okay. I think there was a little bit of a kink right here too I can clean up. Yeah, there we go. Done. All right, perfect. So now it's fixed. I've got working better thumbs. The prop hand is done, and yeah, now we can head over to the legs. Now our arms are really done. Oh wait, did I say that I was gonna do all the hands? Oh, I did. Okay, wait, not done. All right, let's bring up the hands. All right, in the pose sheet we've got some hands. So I'm gonna hide this, and then let's see how far we can get. Let's see how far we can get with these hands. So we've got some here. Got the pose sheet. We'll call this one hands. I like to add a peg and then label it exactly what we're going to use it for. So hands. And this is the peg that we're going to use to move everything around. So now we'll line up. And basically the same way that we did the mouth, we're going to do that here. So every frame, we're going to, and for now I'm just going to do this. I'm going to then count how many hands we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do any of these as well. We've got about 7 or 8. Those are kind of the same. 7 or 8 hands. So let's just, we'll go to 10, and I'm going to just extend my drawings. So this will be this drawing, this one will be this drawing. We'll go back here. And basically what I'm doing is just lining up all the hands with the wrist. So I'm actually going to bring in the lower arm as well, because it might be a better use a transparency too, so I can just see through it. There we go. All right, so now we can line up the hands perfectly with the wrist. So we got this one, we got this one. And with rigging, this is as close as you get to animating. Maybe not as close, but. Alright, so for this one, we're going to turn it. I'm not going to turn it right now. I'm going to leave it for now. We'll do this one. And we'll do this one. One of the things that you could also do is, as I'm just going through these in like kind of not I wouldn't call this chronological order. This isn't too small. This one's way too small. You can see that the lower arm is almost the size of the arm itself, so this one it needs to be way bigger. But I'm just going through these in order as like they are presented on the post sheet. But a lot of times hands are organized very methodically. So that's definitely something that you could consider. Here is maybe grouping all of the fists together, all the open hands together, the back of the hand, the front of the hand, the pointing hands. You could get a little bit more methodical as you're doing this. You could do this. I hear animation is like 80% drawing hands anyway. It might be true. It might be true. It's a lot of hands. Alright, so we'll see how far I can get through. I can get through most of these. I think that my copy method can go pretty quick, so but I'm just, like I said, I'm just doing these in order. If I want to get a little more fancy, I could go in there and organize them specifically, but it's not the end of the world. Alright, so let's see, this is the next one. What you do need to remember is that you want to duplicate your drawing or start over. So in my case, I'm going to be duplicating because I work, like I said, I work faster creating these things from scratch. So I like to just move the pivot points around. So here, let me turn my contour. The contour button is kind of there and gonna make me connect to a whole bunch of weird things, so I don't want to do that. And I'm just gonna draw the hand. I'm not worrying about the other layers right now. I'm just focusing on the line art. I do love this part of the rig. I think I like to save this to the end because it's just so, this part I find meditative. And now we're getting into drawing and stuff. Okay, now I can smooth out these lumps. And because I am tracing again, let's get back to here. You'll always want to make sure, you always want to favor like what's considered on model. So definitely think about that when you're drawing hands. Okay. Looks good. Now we can go to the next hand. And the nice thing about working like this, I'm gonna nudge this is a good opportunity for me to actually bring out another node, or bring out another node view, because now I can kind of grab my design when I want it. I'm gonna bring the hand up a little bit here so that it matches. The wrist connection is kind of what I'm looking for. In the original design, it had a little bit more of an overlap, so I'm just going to favor that. Now I can go back to the hand. But what's nice about working like this is you can kind of, I mean, you can almost use the same contour points and, oh, I forgot to slow down. Okay, that's good. I forgot to duplicate my drawing. So now I'll duplicate it. And now we'll keep going. All right. Now this might need to be a little bit bigger than what it is. This is, we want to stay on size, we want to stay on model, so we'll have to do, like when we flip through the drawings, like we did with the mouth, we might want to make an adjustment to some of these because they look like they change size a little bit, which is, this could be common, so something to kind of pay attention to as a build artist. Come on, delete. There we go. Turn my thing back on. When I need to create lines, I just create new contour points and I literally just quickly create the shape I need. Oops. And I'll take care of all of the line thicknesses after. Put this here. Okay, and we're gonna flatten this. This line might have to change a little bit because it's kind of, or get a little fatter. It's gonna be hidden. It's gonna be hard to see, so I'll have to figure out how to manage that. I find that the one thing I spend a lot of time, not a lot of time on, but I'm always kind of like looking at, is you always want to make sure that your knuckles are going in the right direction, because that will really break the illusion of a drawing for a hand. Okay. Okay. one, what is this? This is a 7. So let's match. Okay. Okay, and this. I'm gonna turn on my onion skin on real quick. So it was there, and now they're here. I'm gonna make this a little bit longer. I think it'll benefit. Okay, and now we're going to duplicate the drawing. Can't forget. Turn this off. Okay, so now this one is I don't need all these, so let's delete some of these. Okay, just gonna move this hand up a little. So you'll see that I'm flipping between my my select arrow and my contour arrow. And that's because when you're drawing like this, you want to get into like the nitty gritty details, but you can also use the select tool to help kind of grab your artwork in smarter ways. You can be efficient. Let's see, I want that one here. I want this one here. I'm going to pull the whole hand down because again, it's looking a little small like I did in the last one. What is going on here? I've got something here. Okay, now I can use this line. Hmm. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm gonna pull all these pieces down. Hand is kind of rotating, you can see it. Okay, so then we'll go to the next one. And this one, I'm going to steal the artwork from here. Control A, copy. Did I create my new drawing? No, did not. Let's duplicate my drawing. I'll just delete everything here and then paste. And I'll flip the artwork. When you're drawing your hands too, it's totally fine if you're if you're like I have to do this all the time to make sure that my hands are in the proper order, and we're gonna get that. We're definitely gonna get to the next one, but your front arm. Yeah, when you have your arm down, you're looking at the back of your hand naturally, but in this case, we're looking at the front of our hand, so we have to make sure that our thumb's on the right side. So your thumb will be towards the back. So we want to make sure that this is when you're opening your hand. You want to make sure that you're keeping all that stuff uh, kind of intact. Okay. Delete, delete. Okay, now we've got some line thicknesses that have gotten a little out of control. Let's fix that. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so now this one, we're going to duplicate the drawing, and we're going to, this is one of the hands that we're going to have to make sure that we're pointing in the right direction, but I'm going to copy it, I'm going to draw it the way that it is. I want to make sure that I do want to make sure that the hand is in the right spot. I think it'll actually be fine. So I'm going to spin this around, I'm going to flip it, just to give me the most basic of the shape. With the fingers. Oh, monster, little monster. No, little Mabel, you're fine. She knows. She's so smart. She's so smart. Base birdie. Oh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Sabrina. Oh, that's so awesome. Oh, she's. Mabel says hello. Yeah. Welcome. We're just about finishing right now, but are you in the rigging? Are you in animation? Are you a student? Are you working? Tell us about yourself. Mabel, you're fine. You need to chill. No. Lay down. She just wants all my attention. That's the problem. She really doesn't want to share. Come on. Lay down. I've started to work harder and she knows. Oh, cool. You are an animator. Sweet. So are you a student? Are you working? Or are you learning some of these rigging tips? Can you break a build? And I mean that in like a positive way, not like a bad way. Not like I broke a china bowl in a shop. I mean that is like, we break builds all the time. Mabel, you're done. Come on. Come on, I don't want to have to put this on you. Lay down. Come on, lay down. Down. We're almost done. Lay down. Come on. Down. Oh, lay down. Lay down. Come on. Come on, lay down. Come on. Come on. Lay down. Lay down. Try to ignore her. But working. Oh well, congratulations. Getting the job is the first and the hardest step most of the time. So, I made some scrappy builds for the last couple of studios. I found that's what happens when people work with rigs. They typically and I shouldn't say everybody, but you're fine. They typically start off rough and then at some point along the line, it turns into I don't know, the greatest job. And I would say that that's common. I won't say it's everybody, but it is common. Mabel, you have to give me. I'm gonna have to put your coat on right now. So it's the end. Okay. There you go. And now you get to see Mabel. I throw treats around for Mabel. Super busy. Oh, you know what? Every school, a lot of schools are not on the pulse with harmony rigs, and it's really no fault of the teachers. It's such a demanding position that I really can't blame teachers for not keeping up with the way studios have worked. Plus, it's all proprietary software, so unless you're working directly with the studios and learning how to do it, I don't know what animation studios would be close to Cal Arts that would make sense to learn harmony. So, because it's not the big I know it's not the big ones, that's for sure. Okay, so with this one, with this hand, I might actually want to start over, or start pretty fresh. Let's see. Let's remove this. Let's leave this. No, but pretty cool, pretty awesome. Nice to have you here. I mean, love. Uh, I've I now really enjoy kind of having this Tuesday. I don't know. I want to call it a break, but it's something. Something I look forward to. To casually learning. I get my Animate license through work. Yeah, of course. But Harmony would be out. Oh, really? That's interesting. Oh, because yeah, you don't. I guess they wouldn't be teaching it. That's so interesting. I bet if you just emailed them and asked and just say that you're a Cal Arts instructor, if you use your Cal Arts email, they would probably give it to you. That is the thing about they do want students and teachers to have access. So I shouldn't. Don't. I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising that, but I would still try. See most of the studios in Canada. 2D. Yeah, we do. Sheridan for sure. Sheridan still. They do use rigs, but they're still very focused on traditional animation. Mabel, you need to. You're done. You're done. You're absolutely done. Lay down. Lay down. No more treats. She is on a diet, so now when I throw treats, that is part of her like meal plan because I'm throwing so many. We're tailoring her food a little bit. Okay, one more time. One more time. But now I'm just giving in to your demands. I'll make them a little harder for her to find. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be finding treats all over the place. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess LA. Most of the pre-production's there. So the pre-production mostly is Storyboard Pro. That's cool. Though. What do you teach? What part of animation process do you teach? And feel free to ask any questions too. I do my best to answer what I can. And also, if you're interested, all these right now, I think I'm on week. I think this is week 10 actually. I think I said last week was week 10, but I think this one is actually week 10. So there are 10 online videos if you wanted to ever try to go in and keep up. They're all there. They're all on YouTube. And then if you have any questions, you can put them right in the comments. I would answer them when I see them, I would answer them the moment I could. Let's see, I want to flip this. I'm trying to get through all these hands before. Need to start following along. Maybe long weekends. Yeah, definitely. And all the material too is on my website, so you can actually download the character pack there, and then you can start from start to finish. We're hoping to have the whole character done before Christmas. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I can see that I'm a little slower than I'm predicting, but it's gonna be pretty close. And then the other thing that'll be nice, and with Maybel it's a lot harder. The other thing that'll be nice is the front, the whole entire front view. I'm probably gonna make it available So if you do want that rig, you'll be able to get it. I won't say when. I won't say when. But Mabel, you're done. Come on. You can't bark at me like that. No, you're done. I love you so much. You're done. Come. I don't want to put this on you. Let me see. How many hands do I have left? I'm so close. We're so close. Okay. You're done. And I will put this on you. Don't make me. Anxiety coat. I know. I know you don't like that. You gotta stop barking. Okay. Come here. Okay. She's running away. Fascio for a year, and that's how I kind of started. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Come on. No, you gotta stop barking. Oh, I love you so much. See her looking at me with her eyes. Yeah, I think that it's hard for teachers to keep up with the software. Animation studios, I mean, there's so many of them. They all use it differently. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work in the industry. I can't imagine having to do that as a teacher. Having to keep up with that without the proper training. I just don't think it's possible. So. Okay, just want that to be one little piece. I think that that's good now. All right. Left. Ooh, I've got 4 hands left. I'm not gonna make it. All right, so I'm not gonna make it. So I'll do one more. And then I'll fill them all next week. So that'll be a nice little trick. So this one, and maybe I'll rearrange the hands as well. And by that, why don't I rearrange this hand right now? So this one, I'm just gonna actually spin because the arm is pointing down. So I'm just going to take this whole thing and I'm just going to spin it. I'm going to get rid of that lump as well. I think it'll be more like this. It's a little low. I use my mouse to kind of judge when I'm doing things like this too. You can really see where the pieces are. So you can see this one gets a little low, a little too low, and then here it gets even lower. So I'm gonna actually move these up. So they're not quite in line with the design anymore, but they're gonna be more on model to the character because it's a bit of a harder thing to do when you're turning your hands around. Alright, and then duplicate the drawing. And I'm gonna steal one of these fists. This one. Copy. This drawing looks very small. So you're also a painter, and it seems like such a cool marrying of animation and drawing and coding and program. Yeah, it is. It's full brain power, which is what I like about it. Like, which is probably why I like the moments where I don't have to think and I can kind of meditate, because that is my break. So I always try to schedule all those moments so they kind of work together, and I'm alternating. But I really, really enjoy that, because it is nice to have a job where you're like kind of challenging yourself, but then you're also able to take the breaks. And with every rig, you can do all those things. So I really, really enjoy that. I don't want to change this drawing too much. I think that's it. I think that one's it. Let's see. Let's cut this one. No, Mabel, you're done. You need to stop. You need to stop barking. Copy. 8. And this one, I'm gonna flip. Okay, so this one is kind of like a curly finger point. Yeah, that's so nice that Sabrina shared my info. It was so nice of her. I do miss working in a studio. I do miss that. This is very different. My job is very different now. I don't really want to lose the length of these fingers. I'm going to exaggerate these curves though. I do work from home now. Yes. Yes, I do. That way, Mabel can bark at me the whole time. She doesn't. She doesn't. She's actually so good. I swear, 4 o'clock rolls around, and on Tuesdays, not even every day, but she just sleeps all day. She sleeps in that little mattress thing that I've made her. She's got it. She's got it pretty good. She's got it pretty good. It's really just Tuesdays where she just wants to start barking. just match the line thickness here. This is a 4.1 and this one is a 6. So let's make this one a 4.1, or I mean a 6. Oops, didn't grab both. Okay. Breaking the design a little bit. I'm adding this line just to have it. There needs to be a little overlap there. I know, this flu season sounds scary. Not gonna lie. Some studios in Vancouver are trying to tempt people back into the studio. Yeah, everybody is. Everybody is. But I kind of miss, I miss it. I would be one of the people that go back, if I'm being honest. I really would. Just if I lived close enough that it wasn't like too much of a hassle. When I lived in Vancouver, I lived 5 minutes away from all the studios. So walking distance, it was so nice. I really loved that apartment. I don't think I could afford to move back now, but that was a super nice apartment, a really nice location. So I really enjoyed it. I really miss the view of the mountains. So I don't take that for granted at all. What do we got here? Do you have to go in, Smiley Beaks? Is that what you're saying? You have to go into studio? No, you said you work from home, I think. The only thing I do in person is teach. Yeah, you know what? Teaching online is so hard. It is very difficult. It is so different. And I've now done both. So I can hear you there. Okay. I think I'm gonna do this. Okay. That looks good. I gotta kind of wrap it up now. We're not gonna finish. Let's see. We'll finish. Where am I? I got 2 hand drawings left. But what I will do. No, I will leave it. I think that's where I have to stop. Your team is remote. So I don't think I'll have to go back. Oh, that's good. If you don't want to. Yeah, I miss the synergy. Yeah, it's that's exactly what I miss too. It's the energy of the people, and I really love working with animation people, artists in general. So colorful, so like everything. It's so much fun. So much in common. It's like going to a festival, but you're going to work. And by festival, I mean like an animation festival, not a music festival. Although Friday at 3 o'clock, sometimes a music festival would happen in the studio. But yeah, I miss that. Okay, well, I gotta wrap it up, ladies. Or I don't even know if you're ladies, I'm assuming. I think the birdies make it seem feminine, but I gotta wrap it up. So it was super nice meeting you, base birdies. Yeah. And I hope you come back and send me a message. You can look me up on LinkedIn. It's Lindsay Noller, and I'm available. So, yeah, I hope you have a lovely evening. And we'll finish up the hands next week and we'll dive into the legs. So, yeah, have a good one. You're welcome.